Elef nichnesu lebeis hamedrash ve'echad yotzei lo. 1,000 Talmidim walked into the Beis Medrash, and one came out as the outstanding gadol of them all. It's very possible to say that about Kalman. And you know that this is a mutual assistance, one to the other. The Elef are important because the Echad could not be produced without the Elef. If you don't have the Talmidim in the yeshiva, you can't have that one special one. You haven't got a Moiset. And that's truly they contribute to building him, to making him happen. And he reflects back on them. And he helps them grow and helps them develop as they helped him and produced that conducive environment. So it is truly a Hekar Satov to Rabbi Heyer and Rabbi Cooper for building the Moisef, for building the yeshiva, so that there was a place where I could send my Talmidim. There was a place where they could develop and grow. But it is also true that they had to have a start. And when I asked and spoke to Rabbi Weinberg, Zechron Levracha, my Rebbe, and asked him about starting a program here in Y.U.L.A, he said, go ahead. He gave me a bracha, said, go do it. But there was really no real sense of the possibility of Hatzlacha. Who said we would be successful? In Eretz Yisrael, Baruch Hashem, at that time, the Baal Tshuva movement was taking root and was successful and was growing. Who's to say what happened in Y.U.L.A? Y.U.L.A is not that kind of conducive environment like Yerushalayim. I think Kalman was the second Talmud I spoke to ask to come to the yeshiva, to ask to come to my program. But he was surely the first to show up. Some time ago, many years ago, Rabbi Noach Zechron Levracha came to Y.U.L.A, and he asked me to look up a Talmud. That was a Talmud of his in Bnei Brak, when he started the yeshiva in Bnei Brak. And that Talmud was no longer really on the derech, really not keeping mitzvahs. But Rabbi Noach wanted to see him, because Rabbi Noach said he owed Hakar Satov a great appreciation to that Talmud. Because if not for that Talmud, maybe that yeshiva in Bnei Brak never would have taken root. Maybe it wouldn't have happened. Maybe all the other Talmidim that came forth because of it would not have gotten what they got or achieved what they achieved. So he owed Hakar Satov to this bacher. I owe Hakar Satov to Rabbi Kalman. First bacher to show up. Then he slept, and he brought a lot of others. With Shimon, with Reuven Shechter. I used to joke that that was my Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. My big tkufa back a long time ago. And you know that that at that time, starting to teach and share with people the message of Torah, particularly people who did not have a significant background. Again, it was you hoped for Hatzlacha, you hoped that Hashem blessed your efforts. And you saw that, Baruch Hashem, they were matzliach, the Talmidim was successful. And I felt a very close kinship to all of them. I always maintained a commitment to try to be as accessible and as approachable as possible to all Talmidim, to all students. And Baruch Hashem, we established this close relationship and this close friendship. I mean, it was really Talmud Chaver, really friends. I mean, I watched them grow, I saw them grow up from the earliest youth. And just like Rabbi Sauer said, when I heard the news, I also shrieked. And the only one that helped me stop shrieking was Shimon. If anyone else would have called, I would have fallen apart. Shimon comforted me, because Shimon called me. I was in shul. I shrieked in the middle of the shul, in the middle of the davening. It was just after the davening. Rabbi Kalman was a brilliant young man, tremendous Baal Kishron, but his koyach lied in hasmada, in diligence. His power of an absolute commitment to learning, a love of learning. He demonstrated a person who has enormous energy and enormous power, and tapped into that power. And it was mechayev everyone else. He was a mevakesh, a makabel, and a mechapes. He sought out. He looked for every opportunity. Never missed a class. Came to the learning. Sought out yeshiva, sought out rebbeim, sought out Eretz Yisrael. But it was also a big makabel. When he heard the truth, he internalized it. And he began to live it. And he began to move with it and grow with it. But it was also a mechapes. He sought out more. He searched. He searched like we search for the chametz on Pesach. That's how we search for the truth. That's how we search for the learning. His depth was not only a depth of learning, but also a depth of Havana and understanding in Avodas Hashem and how to serve God. His depth was in Yiras Shamayim, his understanding of Hashem, his understanding of his obligation to Hashem, his understanding of how we're supposed to do it, how we're supposed to live. Kalman came that first day, and he never looked back. He had a gewaldig simchas achayim, it was mentioned, tremendous love of life, tremendous joy in life. Purim plays, I remember. Chasanis, I remember. All his energy, all of his effort. His life was a life of shira, of song. The Torah is a song. The Torah says, write a song, says Hashem. The document which will contain a song. That document, that Torah is kulo shira. It's all a song. That's what it is. It's a song. A song is l'mayla min hateva, above normal expression. What does it mean, a song? A song is a flow. It's a harmony. His learning was that way. People learn in the base medrash, learn with a niggin, they learn with a tune. It's not just an intellectual exercise. It's a full-bodied exercise. A full-bodied experience. Kalman lived the life of a shira, of a song. We kept up a kesher through the years. And went to visit him, but alas, not enough. Not enough times. And maybe whenever I go to Eretz Yisrael, I visit my Talmidim, and more often than not, the Talmidim, still even years later, need a word of chizuk, need a word of strengthening, encouragement, and I'm there. That's what a Rebbe's supposed to do. More often than not, Rabbi Kalman didn't need any chizuk. And the visits we had, in most cases, he was mechazik me. He strengthened me. And they were sweet visits. Once in the kollel, and again, to understand the greatness to which he rose in learning, is to understand that he was a Rebbe, a shoyl and meshiv in a kollel that's so exclusive that only the elite can get in. And he was a shoyl and meshiv in that kollel. Enjoyed visits to his home, met with his children, got so much nachas out of it. When I met Kalman the first time, he told me he was going to USC. In 2 months of learning and coming to my classes in the Valley, I said to him, Kalman, I think you can do better than USC. I think you can do better than becoming a dentist. I think you're special. I think you have unique potential. You can become something that very few can. And that was that sense of his ability to rise in greatness and learning. I want to say, concept of Divrei Musar, this week's parsha, and perhaps this is also everyone's attempting to understand the sense of the tragedy, the immenseness of the tragedy. It says in the parsha that Yaakov Avinu claims that he kept the Taryag mitzvahs even in the house of Lavan. And when he kept those Taryag mitzvahs, in addition to his vigilance on the mitzvahs, he also says, V'lo lamadti mima'asav haroyim. I didn't learn from his bad deeds. Everyone knows that Lavan was a bad man. And everyone knows that Lavan was Kula Russia. So the idea is, people ask the kasha, shouldn't say, I didn't learn from his bad deeds. It should say, I didn't learn from any of his deeds. What's the ma'asav haroy? Lo lamati mima'asav. Just want to say a pshat that Lavan wasn't all bad. Lavan had some good qualities. One of his most magnificent qualities was the quality of zrizus, was the quality of energy, was the quality of dedication, was the quality of complete involvement and self-sacrifice for what he believed in. Albeit what he believed in was negative. Albeit what he believed in was wrong. His desire was for money. His desire was for exploitation. His desire was for harm. But he pursued it with an immense power. Yaakov Avinu says, I didn't learn from his bad deeds, but I learned from his good deeds. I learned that energy. I learned that dedication. And I learned how to give out and to put out and to be strong for the true cause. So says Yaakov Avinu. We have a situation which demonstrates the absolute confrontation between koyach hatumah and koyach hakdusha. The power of impurity confronts the power of purity and holiness in a direct confrontation. And the power of impurity and evil is winning. Look what they're ready to do for their cause. Look at what they're ready to do for a land that they believe is theirs. Look what they're ready to do. What does it tell us about us? Yes, there's no doubt that Rabbi Kalman and the other Choshev Talmidei Chachamim were korbanos. They were sacrifices. But a korban needs to have machshava with it. It needs to have a kosher machshava. If we're to use that as an understanding of a sacrifice, it has to be because our thoughts are there and our thoughts are pure with the sense of an absolute determination to do as much for our cause. Where's the Mesiras Nefesh for Am Yisrael? Where's the Mesiras Nefesh for Eretz Yisrael? Where's the Mesiras Nefesh for Avas Yisrael? And we think about it and go back to our own petty little arguments and lashon haras and issues with one another. Well, he belongs to that group, and this one belongs to that group. Where's the Avas Yisrael? We don't love ourselves as much as they hate us. Rav Kook, Zechon Levracha, said, there's only one hope for the Geula, and that's to do the exact opposite of what caused the Churban. The Churban was caused by sinas chinam, by hatred, and the Geula will be caused by avas chinam, by loving kindness towards one another. Rav Kanievsky says, that's the Chevlei Mashiach. No, Mashiach, wo bist du? Where are you? Isn't this enough? What more do we need? Do we need more? Shreklach, Shreichai V'Kayim. We shriek because it's our Kalman. We shriek because he was our Talmud and our beloved. But Lamaises, many others before, and Chas v'Shalom could be in the future, will equally shriek and equally cry. Because we need the Mashiach, and the Mashiach won't come without Avos Yisrael, without a Mesiras Nefesh and a self-sacrifice to love every single Jew, and to recognize the need to protect every Jewish life. Do you know that if someone, Chas v'Shalom, is in an emergency on Yom Kippur, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to take your keys, get in the car, and take the person to the hospital, right? That means that Avos Yisrael, protecting a Jewish life, is more important than Yom Kippur. That's what it means. That's what it means. When Kalman left for Eretz Yisrael, it was an absolute dedication. We used to say to the Talmidim, you cannot express the absolute commitment to your change in life, to becoming Torah Jews, more than going to Eretz Yisrael. So Kalman and hundreds of others of my Talmidim B'Yayin Hara followed suit, and they left. And most didn't come back. We used to offer a fund for free trips to Eretz Yisrael, one way. Yisrael v'Araisa v'Kudsha Brichu Chadu. Israel, the Torah, and Hashem is one. What does that mean? That means that to come close to Hashem and to love His Torah means to love His people. Means to love His land. People without a land is not a people. Land without a people is not a land. Today, Am Yisrael is defined by Eretz Yisrael. And that's why there cannot be any compromises on that. The Kli Yakar says that the reason that the Bnei Yaakov administered bris milah to the Anshe Shechem after they had violated their sister. He had violated their sister, and they made the whole town do bris milah. And then 3 days later, they killed them all. Why the need for the bris milah? If they deserve death, they deserve death. The answer is because Y.U.L.A says this. Calls man that they're goyim and an atrocity would be made against them, they'd scream bloody murder against the Jews. But if we give them bris and make them into Jews, no one will care. So says the Y.U.L.A. No one will care. What this means really is that the world today is totally topsy-turvy. If ever there was a truth into the phrase Olam HaSheker, there was no greater proof than today. Today the world lives in total self-deception and total self-delusion. What's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. And he who is justified is held as the criminal. He who is the victim is held as the criminal. And so the truth is that that's really the job of the Mashiach. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to turn the world of Olam HaSheker into Olam HaEmes, to show the world the truth. Because Eliyahu Navi comes first. And Eliyahu Navi's job is Teku, Tishbi, Yitaritz, Kushis, Vabayas. End the doubts. End the questions. Solve the problems. Let you know what the truth is. That's the job of Mashiach. That's the job of Eliyahu Navi. And the more the world begins to look down upon us, the closer we are. Rabbi Kalman left Eretz Yisrael and built a life. That's the life we should be all aspiring to. Rabbi Kalman bought me, this I'll conclude. Rabbi Kalman bought me two gifts, two Sfarim. Everyone knows, many of you may remember, he loved the Sefer Masa Halacha, you know. He really loved the Sefer a whole lot. He used to quote from it all the time at the meals, at Sudas. The fellows would sit down for lunch or dinner, and he would throw out Shilas and Halacha. See, he brought me as a gift the two of them. He wrote in both of them. The second one he wrote in Lashon Kodesh in Hebrew. The first he wrote in English. And he wrote as follows. Dear Rabbi Block, here is a small token of appreciation for sending me to Eretz Yisrael to learn. If it wasn't for you, it is very possible I would never have the opportunity to learn Torah. Thank you for changing my life. Kalman Levine. Everybody's jealous of everybody, except his students and his children. Because his children and his students bring him to Olam Haba. Kalman is my ticket. If I get there, it's because of Kalman. And if I get there, I'm taking this with me. It should be a Meilitz Yosher for all of us. And beg the Rabbeinu Shalom to comfort his widow, comfort all the children, comfort all of us, and bring that long-awaited day. Mashiach Tzidkenu, b'meher v'yameinu, amen.